Please do not kill me for assigning a gender identity other than cisgender to a 12-year-old. Woo! Hey nerds, I'm Brennan, and it's Monday. Is Riley from Inside Out gender fluid or gender non-conforming? Whoa.
Brennan, when are you gonna stop doing queer theories?
Never. Alright, so this is the part of the video where I normally put a little disclaimer about the fact that I didn't create this theory, but I have scoured the internet and I've concluded that yes, I'm creating this theory. Even on Tumblr. Even on Tumblr nobody has said it. Or at least I haven't found it. If you made a post about this, then please let me know. Because right now I'm gonna take credit for this theory. But it is inspired by a video made by my favorite collaboration channel, the Super Carlin Brothers. Yep, I've mentioned them before. They do tons of Pixar theories and theories in general, and they made a video about Riley's emotions and why they are different genders.
Why does Riley have multi-gendered emotions?
Before I get into the main evidence for this theory, I just want to explain quickly what gender fluid and gender non-conforming is so nobody is confused. And it basically means that someone who is genderqueer or gender fluid identifies as something other than male or female. It doesn't really have anything to do with the down there region. It's mostly due to the up here region in the brain where Riley's emotions are. And it's best to think of gender in general as a spectrum, male on one side and female on the other, and then in between there's lots of fun genders and expression and identity and all that stuff. I talk a little bit about it on my personal channel, youtube.com/BrennanBeckwith, so go check that out. I am personally gender fluid or gender non-conforming, or as I like to say it, gender whatever, so I am particularly close to this theory.
Seems odd that there would be two little men inside the head of a little girl, so what gives?
In the Super Carlin Brothers video, John talks about, obviously, Riley's different emotions being different genders. And one of the reasons he does mention is that Riley is bisexual. But I don't think that this is necessarily true because, first of all, Riley is 12, and you don't really learn and figure out your sexuality until later in life, and it has nothing to do with the film at all.
Neither does Riley's gender.
I'm getting to it, okay? But John does mention one of the main pieces of evidence that Riley could be gender fluid or gender queer. She is pretty masculine as far as expression and identity, and I know a lot of the outfits that she wears are just, 12-year-old clothes, and girls can play hockey too, and girls can be tough too without being gender whatever. But it's just one of those things to think about as we watch Riley grow up and into her identity. And there's few little pieces of evidence here and there, but it all goes back to the fact that Riley has different gendered emotions. Being gender fluid, gender queer, gender whatever, has to do with how you think and how you feel in your mind. And if Riley was born with male and female emotions, it can definitely speak to a gender non-conforming mind. And all the other characters have the same gendered emotions, down to the bus driver, the girl with the blue streak in her hair, the teacher. So why would Riley be different? Because she doesn't identify as strictly male or strictly female.
Total fraud. Do you think they can see through us?
This is okay.
For this theory, I don't have a huge long list of evidence for Riley being genderqueer, because Riley is 12 years old. And speaking from experience, I didn't realize I was genderqueer until I was in my junior year of high school. people don't generally realize their gender identity until later. They don't realize their sexuality until later in life. They don't realize their gender identity until later in life. But Pixar did set up the plot for another Inside Out, which we have a pretty good idea has to do with puberty. And I am hoping and thinking that we will see Riley grow into her identity.
Hey, guys, what's puberty? I don't know. It's probably not important.
So, conclusion? Riley from Inside Out might be gender fluid or gender non-conforming. We don't know yet because she's 12. She still has a lot of time to figure out her identity, and Pixar has a lot of time to show us that. But my gender non-conforming little heart would just love to see some gender non-conforming representation on the big screen, and where better to see it than a Pixar movie meant for kids.
Things couldn't be better. After all, Riley's 12 now. What could happen?
Alright, links to sources below, but like I said, there's not too much sources for this because I kind of developed this theory by myself. If you have an opinion or a thought about this theory, I'm sure you do, because it is not the best formed theory yet. Leave them in the comments below and I will address them in the end screen of my next video, like I'm gonna do in this video for my last video. If you want more queer theories, don't worry, I got you covered. I got 2 other theories about Danny Phantom and about Storm Pilot. And if you like 6 crazy nerds talking to a camera every once in a while, then you will love the Nerd Club. So click subscribe, especially if you don't want to miss a single one of our videos. And speaking of subscribing, go subscribe to my personal channel, because that's a pretty great channel too. And let's just get to the end screen already. I'm Brennan, this is Monday, bye nerds! Alright, this is where I address comments from my last videos. These comments are from my Storm Pilot theory, go check it out. This one is from Pilot Doodles, who also commented on my Danny Phantom theory. I remember responding to your last comment. They say, I love that media has evolved to a place where gays in space is a phrase that can be canonly used and for multiple shows. Steven Universe, Voltron, Legendary Defender, Star Wars, and etc. Think about all the other gays in space that we are blessed with on this planet right now. So this is from my friend Trish, and she actually texted me asking me to read this comment in a poetic form, so here we go. Growing up watching Star Wars and being LGBT, the moment I realized they were made for each other, they were my guaranteed OTP. Beautiful. Couldn't have said it better myself. And Anastock55 said, you are right, it def makes sense if Finn and Poe end up together, and it should happen. They have the best chemistry, so hail Storm Pilot, smiley face, agreed. And Savannah Sanders says, yes, Storm Pilot is my OTP. Agreed.